All right, guys, we are here in a session with Mr. Jaman, and we're just waiting for him to come online. Actually, we've got another 2 minutes. So if you guys have this coffee or chai or tea or green tea or maybe just lunchtime or brunch time or snack time or whatever is going on, we will get the whole thing rolling. And Mr. Nagesh Pai, thank you so much for the compliment to all our team. We're really happy that you guys are enjoying this. So we're just waiting for Mr. Jaman to come online and he'll just drop the ping. He is here and I'll just take him over since we got another minute. We'll just prepare Mr. Jaman and get the whole thing rolling. All right, so I'll just pull him over and it'll be 4:12 by then. So we will be able to start our session. And you guys who have gotten your coffee, get the coffee sipping and start learning about the designing front. All right. Hi, Jaman, how are you?
I am very well. How is everybody?
I guess everybody's fine, guys. Could you just give up applause to Mr. Jaman? He is here, and just tell whether you can hear him and see him.
Please say hi if you guys can hear me.
Please do, please do.
वाह वाह. So WP Couch कौन कैसे चल रहा है भाई लोग और बहन लोग?
Going good. अच्छा चल रहा है and काफी मशक्कत हुई स्टार्टिंग में, कुछ लोगों की गोची हो गई थी बीच में, बट ठीक है, we've got a
Yes,
hang of it और कल थोड़ा ज्यादा अच्छा होने वाला है.
yes. That is how we build products, right? And
Exactly, that's what.
अच्छा है. I mean, we should be happy that we are learning out of this. So first of all,
That's it.
thank you everybody who is signed up and everyone who is right now watching this. It is the effort by the team here who is doing this. Um, बहुत कम ऐसी ऑनलाइन इवेंट्स इंडिया में करते हैं लोग एंड दे आर डूइंग इट. I'm happy. Well, I'm going to be a little slow because I still struggle with a little bit of anxiety, but I will try to do whatever I can the best. Um, so, first question. Hello. So many hellos to me. Is everyone enjoying this session? Yeah, thank you so much. You know, no one is enjoying it. No one's saying anything.
Apparently, people are enjoying your video quality. It's quite grainy, and they're saying that you might have applied some sort of a filter. So we're
Is
happy.
it now? Is it now? I kind of
Yeah, I
see.
guess.
Okay.
So okay, so we'll just take you over, and we'll just have your screen share starting so that you can take over the conversation and the
Yeah,
conference as well.
yeah. I think I'll do that. Okay.
Sure.
So I'm gonna share this application window here and we'll play this. Okay. So design thinking it is now, right? Everyone designs everything at any point of time in their lives. Be it making a website or even planning something in your life, right? I mean, let's say if I'll give you an example today, right? So I am planning a renovation in my house. So there's a lot of thinking going in. What kind of materials would be used? What would be the cost and things like that, right? So everything that we do in life is essentially some kind of design. So when you go through this talk, whatever I'm going to talk about in this talk can obviously directly be linked to how we build our products. So be it a website, mobile app, or whatever. But it can, if you kind of take a step back, take a more holistic view of the concepts of design thinking, I think we can use it on a more broader uh, perspective, right? Or a more broader whatever you want, like whatever you want to call it. I can't find the word here, but it can be used that way. So can anyone write on that chat about what they think about design thinking. What according to them is design thinking. And Ashutosh, if because I cannot see the chat right now because I'm doing the presentation, if you can just like read out one or two answers to me, it would be like really great.
Sure. Sure, I'll do that. So what was your question? Could you just repeat the question so that people can type in?
What is design thinking according to them?
So guys, the question is, what according to you is design thinking? Could you just give your thoughts, type in your thoughts? Mohammed Mohsin is saying that you're giving life advice.
Everyone is very keyboard happy. He may not be. I'm trying to figure out my life, so I might not be the best one to give the life advice.
Good point. Good point.
Everyone is very keyboard happy.
So yeah, people are really, they're virtually very happy. They're like, on the verge of just, coming out of the screen and giving a handshake to you. So we've got a couple of answers. Vineet has mentioned that concept or process, or for concept, he's saying conception or process of any concept is called design thinking. Mohammed Mohsin said that design thinking is thinking methodically. That's what he's saying. And Prince says that designing with experience in mind is design thinking. So Prince has also given another.
That is an interesting approach.
Yeah, he's given a very theoretical answer as well. Design thinking revolves around the deep interest of developing an understanding of people for whom we're designing a product. Did you just Google that? Prince?
Partly, yes. But well, if you see, I'll take this up. Is design thinking is non-linear, iterative process which seeks to understand users, challenge assumptions, redefine problems, and create innovative solutions to prototype and test. कुछ समझा किसी? बेस्ट था, टॉक खत्म हो गया. थैंक यू भाई आशुतोष. तू कुछ क्विज विज करने वाला था, उसका कुछ करेगा अभी?
Apparently, Prince का आंसर गूगल वाला ज्यादा आसान था. Yours went into a very detailed elaboration.
ठीक है, चलो. तो फिर I think we will do with a little more hand holding and ऐसे fun था. Ignore. I'm not drinking beer. We don't get beer. It's lockdown. So what is design thinking? It is the way we empathize with the user, the problem, or the subject that we are trying to think about. It is how we are going to define the problem, service, product that is the subject. How are we going to ideate? What are the kind of ideas that we would come out with based on the previous two steps? And whatever ideas are generated, how are we going to kind of do a quick prototype? And when it comes to prototype, this we'll talk a little more about this on how we would prototype in the digital world. How can we move it out to the real world, and then further test the whole scenario of it. So in a nutshell, design thinking is a cycle where you empathize, define, ideate, prototype, test, and then you again do it all over again. So when you test, you get certain results, and then you take those results, you try to make sense of those results by empathizing with those results, and then you further define, drill down into defining a more better objective, right? So why we should do this? Right? But it would not be right in many cases. Or घर में रेनोवेट करना, हाँ करिए तो लाओ, वो कोटेशन दे देगा, वो कलर लगा देगा और वो घर रेनोवेट हो जाएगा. May not be. अगर कड़िया सही नहीं, if वो कड़िया can't do it, like an interior designer can do it, but a कड़िया cannot do it. And why an interior designer can do it is because the interior designer is going to implement design thinking at his stage, and he's going to come back with the prototype or the test. You are going to enter at that point. So design thinking is going to get involved in it. बहुत बोला है ना, ये ऐसे सबका मुंह होगा. I'm assuming right now I can't see anybody. I can just see this presentation. Anyway, Why
Yeah, I
do
guess
we?
we need that mouth open emoticon if you guys are just opening your mouth by what he said right now.
Right, right. So, why do we do design thinking? So, what are the things that we try to get out of design thinking? Is first is we try to figure out कि मैंने सोचा there is I'll give you an example. I had a car अभी whatever I am driving उसके पहले I used to drive a Honda, and Honda had like a little, like a tiny number plate, like this tiny number plate on it, which was like as big as my phone. And when I put that number plate, I felt it is amazing. Like it's so minimalistic and it looks nice. It had thin fonts, and I was in love with it. And then I was pulled over by a policeman saying that, you know what, your number plate is not visible. We cannot read the numbers, and it does not serve the purpose. I said, yeah, okay, police wale hai, paisa khane mein kuch bhi karte hoंगे, never know. So I ignored them. Then I went out to a party, and some of my friends says, you know what, that number plate looks like really ugly. And then I started talking to people and tried to figure out why that was happening. Uh, and then I finally removed that number. I put up a normal number plate. Anyway, so that example uh, told me that I felt that the number it looked nice, it all the purpose, everything. But it was to me, it was not desirable to other people. And why was it not desirable to other people is because there were few products. So design thinking is a process that enables you to find the desirability of the product, service, or any action or subject that you want to do.
All right, Jamin bhai, I suppose your audio has just gone away. Can you guys hear me? Guys, can you hear me? Jamin bhai, can you reconnect once again? We'll just bring you back. Yeah, one sec. We'll just bring you back. Your connection is lost. We're waiting for him to reconnect. I'll just call him back again. Guys, just give me one sec. Yeah, I'll just bring him back. That's okay. That's okay. We have a ton of things going on. भारत का इंटरनेट है सबकी ऐसी तैसी होती है
सुनाई दे रहा है
आप सुनाई दे रहा है सो feasibility से पहले वाली साइड whatever you said that was lost.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
back to it
what
again.
so I was saying that for it helps you find the I will start from desirability, that it helps you identify that how desirable it is to the beneficiaries of the product, service, subject, whatever, right? From there you can also are we in the position of pulling it off? Can we do the whole thing, or should we just, like, rescope it, thoda sa part leke karenge and then build on it? We kind of figure that out. And the last thing is the feasibility is it is the most important thing, right? Like it is viable for us to make it. It is desirable to the users, but is it feasible for us to make? Is it going to benefit us as much as it is going to benefit the beneficiary? Is it going to do the real job that we are intending it to do, or is it that we have enough time to do what we want to do, right? So, is it feasible? These are the these are the three things that we are trying to find out with design thinking. Right? And how do we do that? So, first thing is empathize. Step one is you try to understand why others would feel that this thing that you are planning is good or bad for them. And be it a product, again, I would say be it a product or be it anything, right? So, how do you empathize? First is you take interviews. So, interviews is a very formal word, but you can say that you talk about it to the beneficiaries. आप अगर प्रोडक्ट है तो आप लोगों को क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हो, अच्छा हम ऐसा कुछ बनाना चाहते हैं, लॉकडाउन है, सब्जी नहीं मिल रही है, दारू नहीं मिल रहा है, सो आई विल गो आस्क माय फ्रेंड्स, या दारू नहीं मिल रही तेरे को, शुड आई स्टार्ट दारू डिलीवरी? A lot of them will say yes, yeah, it is feasible. Is it viable? Can I do it? Is it in legal limits? No, gray borderline. Okay. Is it desirable? Yes, of course. Everyone is saying yes, it is desirable. So, this is the kind of questions that you can ask. Like one, I am giving just one example. You guys can definitely come up with more examples and write about those examples in the chat so that others can talk about it, read about it. Maybe Ashudesh can prompt me. We can pick up from there, and also I can further elaborate the examples. But bottom line is we can take interviews. We can talk to people about the idea that we have. Once we have those interviews, how are we going to, so when you take interviews, what are we essentially doing? We are observing, right? Whatever the person is telling us by voice, by chat, however, we're observing, we're seeing that thing, absorbing that thing, and trying to make sense and take decisions about the first three things that we decided: desirability, viability, feasibility. Ka decision हम ले रहे हैं through those observations. So I have seen people uh, taking interviews where they are saying, दारू आज के अभी लॉकडाउन में दारू नहीं मिल रही, मुझे लगता है दारू डिलीवरी का धंधा चालू करेंगे ना तो it is going to be really good, right? And I have a live video. My father. Okay. Sorry, it's my father. So, I was saying that I am taking an interview and I'm saying that, lockdown में नहीं मिल रही, so I think I should do it. So the other person is definitely going to answer in affirmative because that person does not want to look maybe bad, saying that यार मैं ना बोलेगा तो उसको कैसा लगेगा, या maybe saying मैं ना बोलूँगा तो maybe he will think that I am not thinking big enough or wide enough, So the questions that you ask during interviews should be unbiased, should not have uh, a base to it, right? So you can say, oh, people are doing Daro delivery. What do you think about it? It's a very neutral question, right? But the answer would give you, whatever answer that you give is going to give you, sorry, my phone's ringing. The answer that the user will give is going to give you a data point that will help you understand and take a decision. Third thing is experience, is you yourself step into the shoes. So I'll take these three points and I'll just reiterate with a new example. Is, let's say if you are building a website, we take interviews, and those interviews have neutral questions, and then we build the product, right? Or we already have a product and we are building a module out of it. How are you going to say that this is going to really work? Is by you yourself using it, right? आप खुद यूज करोगे तो आपको समझेगा what are the pains that a users are going to go through when this particular product is going to, or a service is going to hit the market. So interviews, observation, and experience are going to give you initial data points that would help you take the final decision at the end of the process. Why is this called empathizing? Is because this is a point of time when you do not think for the benefit of the product or for your own benefit. This is a point where your single point is that ये करने से उसका बेनिफिशियरी यूजर होगा, सामने वाला होगा, ना कि प्रोडक्ट, ना कि सर्विस, सामने वाला जो बंदा इसको कंज्यूम करने वाला, बेनिफिशियरी, कंज्यूमर, यूजर, व्हाटएवर यू वांट टू कॉल इट, वो होने वाला. एंड that is why it is called empathizing. It's because it's not you, it's someone else. Then once we have those data points, उस data points को लेके हम एक problem statement को define करेंगे, right? कि what is the problem? मैंने सोचा कि I want to do, let's take an example that's a little more neutral and family friendly. So I want to do vegetable deliveries during the lockdown. What is the problem? People are not getting vegetables. No, they do get vegetables. What's the problem? The problem is exposure to the possible infection right now. Maybe sabji wali kahan rehti hai, mujhe nahi pata. Is she maintaining her hygiene? I don't know. Are the vegetables clean enough? I don't know. Where the vegetables are coming? I don't know. So I would say that this service that I'm going to start is going to be a farm to fork story, right? मैं farm से लेके आऊंगा और तुम्हारे plate तक खाना पहुंचाऊंगा in a more hygienic way where things are more clean. So that gives you a whole marketing pitch that इसके आगे बोल रहे थे, right? However you do, whatever your marketing plan would be, this problem that you identify would give you fodder for your marketing plan. It helps you understand the mindset when you are trying to define these, and your interviews would have these purpose of definition. You are going to ask more meaningful questions saying that boss तुमको क्यों लगता है कि ये करना पड़ेगा, why do you think a grocery delivery is a good option, is that is a point of time the user is going to tell what is there in their mind, so you can understand the mindset, and with that mindset you can further define the thing. And at the same time, when the user is giving you their mindset, the user is also going to tell you, you know what, मेरे को jackfruit की delivery नहीं मिलेगी तो चलेगा, I can live without jackfruit for 2 months. But I do really need okra, and I do really need brinjals, and I do really need potatoes. So it helps you identify the requirement, and that is the way you can pick and choose what you want to do first and what can be deferred for a later date. इसको मैं बाद में कर सकता है क्योंकि ये immediate requirement नहीं है. So, इससे आपका एक scope definition होता है और आपको end user की expectation भी देगा कि मेरे को साफ चाहिए, तो आप बोलोगे हाँ, क्या मैं नाइट्रोजन सील्ड पैकेजिंग दूंगा, क्या मैं नॉर्मल सील्ड पैकेजिंग दूंगा, क्या मैं वैक्यूम पैकेजिंग दूंगा, क्या मैं ब्लांच्ड वेजिटेबल्स दूंगा, क्या मैं कट वेजिटेबल्स दूंगा. यू सी देयर आर सो मेनी वेज एक वेजिटेबल डिलीवर हो सकता है. वो एक्सपेक्टेशन भी तुम आइडेंटिफाई कर पाओगे और डिफाइन कर पाओगे और उससे तुम तुम्हारा प्रोसेस सेट कर पाओगे. सेम चीज आप वेबसाइट्स वगैरह के लिए यूज कर सकते हो कि एक यूजर बोलेगा कि हाँ, आई विल ट्राई टू. Let's take the same example where the person is trying to do the delivery. Actually, get a DMart, big, everyone is saying that we do deliveries, but nobody has slots because they identified the problem, they identified the mindset, but they were short in identifying the requirement. They were short in identifying the expectation. They identified कि problem था कि सब्जी नहीं deliver होगी. They identified the mindset that people are not going to step out. They are going to be careful. So they are going to use digital medium to order vegetables or groceries, but they were short in identifying the requirement that so many people will do it at the same time. They were short in identifying that the people would want 100% hygiene. They would want, the expectation would be if I will order now, I should get it in 2 hours because Amazon has put that. Amazon Prime 2 घंटे में delivery करेंगे. That is the expectation that was set before the coronavirus set in. And end users still expected the same, even if the situation was new. So you see that definition was not completely done. The design thinking was not. There was no thorough design thinking. उसकी वजह से आज की डेट में you don't get slots when you order from DMart or whatever, right? So this is what helps you the definition. Definition at the end of the day, अगर उसको sum करते, is going to help you create a point of view. And how are you going to make this point of view? Is you are going to identify the need, which you will identify with the interviews at the definitions, अपना empathy वाला आगे वाला stage. It will help you create personas because whenever you take interviews, you are going to say that ये 5 तरीके के लोग होते हैं, right? आप लोगों से बात करोगे, you categorize people. It is natural. It is very human that you will categorize people. So that ये आदमी ऐसा है, ये पैसे वाले लोगों का नाटक ऐसा होता है, गरीब का नाटक ऐसा होता है, इसका ही होता है, इसका वो होता है, इसका वो होता है, right? So you make personas. जैसे ये काम करने वाला आदमी है, इसका ये सही रिक्वायरमेंट है, ये हाउस वाइफ है, इसका ये रिक्वायरमेंट है. एंड देन दीज पर्सोनास का जो इनसाइट्स तुमको मिलता है इंटरव्यूज में, जो इंफॉर्मेशन मिलता है, ये सारी चीजें यू आइडेंटिफाई, डिराइव एंड डिस्कवर एट द empathy stage. You use that in this formula and you create a point of view by understanding these 4 things from the information that you've got. And from these 4 things, you create a point of view. This point of view is further used to create ideas. Right? So the next stage will be ideation. You will ideate. And how are you going to do this? You just come together, think of ideas. बहुत सारे ideas. सोच अरे ये भी हो सकता है, वो भी हो सकता है, वो भी हो सकता है. It is inside the box. It is outside the box. Outside the world. मैं ग्रोसरी को रॉकेट में लॉन्च करके आई वांट टू डू मार्केटिंग कैंपेन. मैं ग्रोसरी लॉन्च जैसे इलॉन मस्क ने टेस्ला गाड़ी भेज दी थी स्पेस में, वैसे मैं 5 किलो आलू भेज देगा. Stupid ideas can also work at times, right? There was no sense of shooting a car in the space, but it worked for Tesla. So you will just brainstorm a lot of ideas, write them on a piece of paper, put it somewhere, and then you would do you will say, आओ भैया वोट करते हैं, कौन से आइडियाज ठीक लग रहे हैं, क्योंकि उस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे यू हैव अ लॉट ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन, व्हाट पीपल वांट, व्हाट इज द एक्सपेक्टेशन, ए बी सी डी, सारा इंफॉर्मेशन है, और उसके बेसिस पे से हमने आइडियाज निकाले, और उस 5 आइडियाज में से हम 2 आइडियाज को एग्जीक्यूट करेंगे, तो भैया द पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ दैट बिकमिंग अ सक्सेस ऑटोमेटिकली इंक्रीजेस, डजंट इट? So you would democratically vote on those ideas. Give you an example. 2015 में एक startup था, उसमें मैं designer था, मेरे पास 5-6 लोग थे, and we used to like go through this whole process. उसमें हम business से बात करते थे, marketing से बात करते थे, हम management से बात करते थे. This was a salon spa appointment startup. You used to get बाल काटने के लिए appointment लेने के लिए तुम mobile app. Why do you need that? I don't know, but they wanted to do that. They were from IIT. They were doing it. So we used to talk about a lot of things which were so trivial, which could have got solved by a phone call. But we had a very robust app for that, with like so many features in it, right? And then we used to come up with so many ideas, which at that point of time we felt like, wow, we are building another Apple. But no, and now it is very trivial for me. But when those ideas would come, we used to like come up with we used to have these ideation sessions once every 15 days, and we used to come with 20-25 ideas on the day of ideation, and then we used to like put it up on we had like a big glass wall, उसके ऊपर post-its लगाते थे गाँव दुनिया में, and then we used to like pick up ये वाला idea लेंगे, ये वाला idea लेंगे, ये वाला idea लेंगे, चलो. And then next 15 days हम लग जाते थे उसको बनाने के लिए, हम उसको बनाते थे. हम over the period of like what 2.5 years जो भी हमने काम किया होगा, उसमें we might have like come up with what 100 ideas, उसमें से 20 चले, 80 नहीं चले, स्टार्टअप बंद हो गया. But ठीक है, I mean the key that I want to tell you is that there is also a possibility that even after doing the whole design thinking process, you might fail. That is the nature of products. So that doesn't mean that you would discount the need of design. You have to keep on doing it. Because हमारे जो piece the company to नहीं चल 3,000 signups a day. And that was a peak period. 3,000 signups a day. That's also not bad. So why were we able to do that? Because our ideas were really, really, there was analytical data, management data, and everything. So coming with ideas, and once you have that, you prototype, you build those ideas, you test. That's the last stage. Sorry, I jumped ship. So you prototype those ideas. Coming back to the grocery delivery, हमने सोचा yes बनाएंगे. Now what we are going to do, I'm going to take one store and I'm going to go around 5 kilometers around that store. I'm going to send out pamphlets, leaflets, whatever, and say, we're going to do grocery delivery and let's see what happens. People will pour orders. What is our prototype? We make pamphlets, we would do packings and whatever, right? So when we start the prototyping stage is going to take you through a process of understanding what would happen. So it starts from what could it be. हम सोचेंगे कि हाँ हमारा ये आइडिया है और ये आइडिया में हम ये सब कर सकते हैं. These are the things that we can do. So it starts with what could it be, right? And then when we start making that prototype, when we start doing things, we start finding things that we had not thought of, gaps that we had left, and that gaps, they tells us what should it be. हमने सोचा था ये ऐसा करना, but नहीं, ये ऐसा नहीं होगा. It has to be like this. So we come from what could it be to what should it be. And as we proceed to that, when we start building what should it be, we would really know what will it be. उसमें हमको पता चलेगा कि नहीं सच में ये. This is the bitter truth of anything. Like हम वेबसाइट बनाने निकलेंगे, we will say we would make WooCommerce, say we would go to Magento, we are going to make the biggest e-commerce site of the world. होता है? नहीं होता. आसमान का सोचोगे, खजूर में अटकोगे. ऐसा बोला जाता है, this is what, this is the आसमान, what could is the आसमान, what will is the खजूर, right? So that is what prototyping is. You, at the end of it, you have something that works. You know this is what it is, and this is what I have to uh, ship or test or understand. Will it work for people? So that is a point of time when you test. टेस्ट इज कोई उसको सॉफ्ट लॉन्च बोलता है, कोई उसको बीटा बोलता है, कोई अल्फा बोलता है, व्हाटएवर, राइट? It does not go to everybody, it just goes to like a small group of people where we check what is it, how is it going to work, is it going to do what we intend it to do, are people going to use it the way we want to use it, right? So what, there are three very important things when you, about your mindset as a design thinker. The three most important, अभी टेस्टिंग तो किसी को समझाने की जरूरत नहीं, everyone knows what is testing. प्रोडक्ट दे दो, सर्विस है तो बता दो, get the feedback, again go to empathize, and you just like keep on jumping between the things. But one thing that is very important and the key is that when you test, जो डिजाइन थिंकर है ना, उसका माइंडसेट ओपन होना चाहिए. वो सामने वाला तुम्हारा प्रोडक्ट तो सही यूज करे या गलत यूज करे, या उसका मतलब कुछ मतलब just rip it apart and throw it out the window. You have to be patient, calm, and see that this happened. You have to be unbiased. You don't have to say, how can you do that? Like, it's common sense. You've got to do that. No, it's not common sense. It is common sense because you think it is, not the other person thinks the same, right? So you have to be unbiased. You don't, there are, I'm sorry, but if I touch a border here, but a lot of people feel that women and men, they have different capabilities of doing different things, but that's not right. You don't have to be biased based on gender, race, religion, color, age. If your product is for kids, the kids should be able to use it. You can't say they बच्चा है उसका अभी तक नहीं समझा, थोड़ा बड़ा वो समझ जाएगा. Then your product is not for kids. बड़े लोगों के लिए. If you make a poetry for बड़े लोगों, imagine how successful you will be. So it is important to be unbiased. Third is you have to be patient. At times people, अभी तुम किसी को बोलोगे, आप एक काम कीजिए, आप मेरे लिए उबर बुला दीजिए, कैन यू कॉल एन उबर फॉर मी? People say, I will try, I can do that. Okay. A lot of people struggle, even you and me. There are times we struggle to call an Uber, isn't it? It's not that the product is made wrong. It's just that there are certain things that we cannot perceive. Even after being in a stage where we build products, we still struggle with some products. So it's completely natural that people would struggle with our products. So when you are testing, it is open. It is important that you are open, you are unbiased, and you are patient. And these, if you are successful in doing these three things, you are going to gather insights that would be more valuable than gold, oil, or even data that Facebook is gathering for your product. Right. So you test, and then that's what the whole process gets over. You say, हाँ मेरा product बन गया और हमने ship कर दिया और खत्म. ना, खत्म नहीं. That is when the journey starts. Whatever you've tested, whatever feedback you get, उसी टाइम पे तुम है ना यूजर को पूछोगे, ये तूने ऐसा क्यों किया? What is that? An interview. You're back into empathy stage. Right? You again ask, अच्छा ये तुमने ऐसा क्यों किया? मुझे लगता था तुमको ऐसा करना चाहिए था. No, you ask, ये तुमने ऐसा क्यों किया? Unbiased question. You back into empathy stage. You gather that data. You go back to the definition stage. Make sense of that data. Create a point of view. Come back to the third stage, fourth stage, fifth stage. Go back to stage one again. It is like a never-ending process. Design thinking never ends. If design thinking ends, product development, service development, subject development ends. So as the slide says, let's take WPCC as an example. I'm sure the organizers do not have a problem when I take WPCC as an example. चलेगा ना आशुतोष?
अभी तक तो दौड़ रहे हैं, अभी तो दौड़ रहे हैं. अब रॉकेट के साथ एकदम जेट पैक लगा के उड़ा दो आप, बता के सारी चीजें.
So I'll tell you a little bit of story about what WPCC is. आज तक आप लोग ने सबने एक अच्छा सा marketing page देखा, सब देखा, but there are people behind this, and there are people who knowingly, unknowingly applied design thinking behind this conference. I am part of the organizing team, and I have been in this whole process since, maybe not from the start, but from quite early on. So the thing was that the world got affected by coronavirus. सब घर में बैठ गए, and people, like almost all of us, if I'm not incorrect, are used to going word camps or speaking at word camps or going to meetups, right? Now, suddenly the whole world is in lockdown, everyone is at home. I'm in Bombay, 70 दिन हो गए, everyone is at home, right? You can't move, you can't do anything. लोगों से मिलना बंद हो गया. So Vineet, Abhishek, Ashutosh, these people came up with an idea saying that why don't we do a conference where people can get together online? So the question was, but, and then they organized a hangout call, and I was invited. A few more were invited, and जितने भी invited है, सबका नाम उधर है, आप देख सकते हैं. काफी लोग थे, 15-16 लोग. Everyone just came on board, and everyone started bouncing ideas. So that empathy stage was skipped, ऐसा लगा, right? No, but the empathy stage was not skipped because जब विनीत, अभिषेक या उन लोग ने जब भी ये चीज का प्लान किया, उन लोग ने इंटरनली एक दूसरे को सब्जेक्ट बनाया, एक दूसरे के इंटरव्यूज लिए, एक दूसरे से क्वेश्चंस पूछे, और बिकॉज ऑल ऑफ देम, अभिषेक, Vineet, and Ashutosh are seasoned community people. They have ran their own physical events, right? किसने Delhi World Camp run किया, किसने Nagpur run किया. Vineet has also been part of the Delhi team. So, इनको पता है conference क्या होता है, right? So they were able to put in some valuable feedback at the empathy stage, and then when other people came in, they started giving their feedback, and एक प्रॉब्लम डिफाइन हुआ कि हाँ, ऑनलाइन कॉन्फ्रेंसेस तो बहुत होती है, लेकिन 7-8 घंटा 12 घंटा कौन बैठता है, छोटी कॉन्फ्रेंस करनी चाहिए. ओके, सो द आइडिया वाज, फर्स्ट डेफिनेशन, वर्डप्रेस काउच कॉन 4 घंटे 5 घंटे से बड़ी नहीं होगी, 3 से 4 से ज्यादा स्पीकर नहीं होंगे, देसी वर्ड कैंप करेंगे. So we jumped back to the idea stage, definition stage. This example should make it clear that design thinking is not a linear process, because इंसान का दिमाग है ना, ऐसा एक लाइन में नहीं सोचता. हम we just, that's why it's a mind map, right? It's all over the place. आइडिया भी आ रहा है, उसमें डेफिनेशन भी हो रहा है, उसमें इंटरव्यू भी चल रहा है, सब एक साथ चल रहा है. You're just trying to, like, make sense of everything, make notes of it, and then at the end of the day, WPCC was prototyped. This is the prototype. You guys are our test users. पहला WP CouchCon, कोई भी पहला इवेंट एक प्रोटोटाइप होता है, करके देखते हैं कितने लोग आते हैं, टेक्नोलॉजी चल रही कि नहीं चल रही, चीजें चल रही कि नहीं चल रही. Everybody learned, right? There was a screw up at an event, at a talk earlier. कुमार, और उसमें कुमार का कोई गलती नहीं है, उसको बेचारी को कल उसकी म्युनिसिपैलिटी ने बोला लाइट चली जाएगी. He got stuck, right? I mean, that was a learning. Next time you do WPCC, or any one of you will do a online conferencing, then boss, you need to have a backup speaker. Sorry, learning it. This is how design thinking is. WPCC is one of the examples on how design thinking was applied. Ideas were thought, and in less than 20 days, this event is put together, and I'm amazed that we've got more than 300 registrations, more than 200 people, I think, are right now online. I cannot see it.
Yeah, to be very honest, there
But
are approximately
you guys,
exactly
everyone who is
290
online can
people who are
see.
sitting there. Right.
Yeah, 200 plus people. 20 दिन के अंदर event is put together is because every time a point was put by the team कि हमें ये करना है, there were devil's advocates asking counter questions. There were thoughts, there were ideas which were bounced endlessly. Slack was ringing till 4 in the morning. There were long hangout calls, day in, day out, 2 times in the day, and then we have it here. And we've got the best of the, and the best thing is, even the speakers, all the speakers except for me, everyone just bought into the idea. We just had to tell them, we're doing this. Would you like to speak? And they say, of course, why not? And we've got some really good speakers here. We're talking about some really good ideas. So today we are able to confidently do WPCCs because we inherently imply design thinking to it. So अभी बहुत जनरल बोले अरे यार ये तो सुन के बहुत अच्छा लगा, मैं भी करेगा डिजाइन थिंकिंग, मैं भी अभी ऑफिस में जाके बोलेगा ऐसा 5 स्टेज करेंगे, नो, ऐसा नहीं होता है. It doesn't work like this. You cannot force people saying that, अभी मुझे आइडिया दो. It's not like that. The best of the ideas come in a table which is 3 feet by 3 feet. It cannot be forced on people. It has to come out naturally. So it's the key to design thinking is conversation, talk, discuss with an open mind, with a heart to absorb the ideas that people have. They might be wrong. You might not concur. तुम बोलोगे यार मैं नहीं मानता ऐसा होता है. देर इज अ थिंग वेयर आज के दिन में मैंने 4 चीजें इंटरनल स्लैक ग्रुप पे बोली ये मत करो, एंड स्टिल द टीम वेंट अहेड एंड डिड इट, एंड आई एम टेलिंग यू बॉस आई वाज रॉन्ग. कल रात को व्हेन वी वर टेस्टिंग क्राउडकास्ट there was a thing, right, Asutosh? I said so many times, don't do certain things, but they did it. They said, no, we'll do it, and they pulled off an event. The Crowdcast team is they're doing an exceptional job at the event. So even if you do not agree to the idea, absorb that idea, work on it. That is empathy. That is what design thinking is. So yeah, I mean that is what it is. I think मैं बहुत सारी देर तक बोल दिया, इतना से लंबा नहीं था मेरा तो. But that is what. Thank you so much for listening to me. I am on Twitter at Javel Pandya, and thank you for attending the first podcast. I'll stop sharing so that I can see everything. Thank you, Mango, for the props. We just love it. Oh, that is my beautiful wife telling me awesome talk. Thank you, baby.
All right, guys. So this was Jaman Pandya, who apparently came out like a very modest person and said literally things that apparently no one would say. But thank you, Jaman Bhai. You have actually enlightened us with examples in a very desi manner. And you've kept the theme of the whole conference, बिल्कुल एकदम set up. So people are actually clapping now, and we got a question for you. If you could just take one question, which we have gotten
Yes.
from Vineet. Yeah. So basically, what is the ideation process you would suggest to brainstorm for, let's suppose, a new chatbot project?
Yeah. So the thing is that here the problem with the question is that it is jumping straight to the ideation process.
Right. Okay.
It should start from the empathy. It
Okay.
should say chatbot बनाना है तो क्यों बनाना है?
Uh-huh.
क्या करेगा वो चैटबॉट? किसके लिए करेगा?
Right.
एंड यूजर कौन होगा?
Okay.
किस तरीके के सवाल पूछेगा? और
Uh-huh.
हम जो सपोर्ट देंगे वो किस हद तक देंगे?
Right.
Are we going to let's take an example. It's a chatbot to buy insurance,
Uh-huh.
and this chatbot, one of my AirPods died. So if this chatbot
Right.
is to sell insurance, so
Right.
and it is for selling insurance for diseases at the old age. So
Uh,
let's actually reframe, because that is when I will be able to build a better example.
right. Right.
This is a chatbot जिसके लिए बूढ़े लोग आ सकते हैं and they can claim insurance.
Right.
एक बूढ़ा आदमी है and he's unwell, he's got diabetes, he's got hypertension, he's got cardiac whatever,
Uh-huh.
नलिया भरी पड़ी है, जमी पड़ी है, and this person is going to hospital. The doctor says, you need to get hospitalized, you need to do bypass. So this person says, okay, I need to reach out to my insurance company. There's no insurance agent. The company says, we are technology savvy company, so I have a chatbot. ये chatbot बनाने का काम विनीत को दिया है. तो विनीत
Right.
का प्रॉब्लम क्या है? विनीत पूछेगा
Right.
कि बुढ़ा आदमी है, how techno savvy is it? What are the kind of questions that I would ask? Also,
Right.
is the chatbot going to process the claim, or is it just going to
Right.
take the information and pass it to the sales team?
Right.
So Vinny, when you will ask these questions, तुम्हारे सवाल के जवाब तुमको खुद मिल जाएगा.
Okay. So
Vinny, can you? I will actually ask Vinny only to type, and I want to
please.
demo this to everybody. Vinny,
Sure.
I am giving you a process saying that chatbot है बुढ़े लोगों के लिए, to pass it on as a sales lead. तो आइडिया क्या बनाओगे आप? आपका आइडिया क्या होगा उस सेल्स के? आपके शॉर्ट में लिख सकेंगे उस चैट? हाँ या ना तुमको?
Yeah, I suppose he's typing because this is a question that will take up a bit of thinking. So maybe he'll be
Yeah.
typing or maybe he can answer it. But I have a personal question from your end.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, he's just typing something. Please go ahead. The idea है वो लोग deal कैसे करेंगे या क्या use होगा उसका or the chatbot.
That is not an idea. That is a question.
Okay, what is the
That
question?
would lead to the idea. डील कैसे करेंगे? डील उनको डील नहीं करना, उनको खाली इंफॉर्मेशन देना है ताकि सेल्स टीम या जो भी क्लेम टीम है उनको रिस्पॉन्ड करेगी, राइट? सो द आइडिया वुड बी, आपका नाम दे दो, एक छोटा सा चैटबॉट बनेंगे। आइडिया में मेरा आइडिया ऐसा है कि मैं छोटा सा चैटबॉट बनाऊंगा, उसमें मैं बोलूंगा आपका नाम दे दो, आपका डेट ऑफ बर्थ दे दो, ठीक है? इट इज डिफिकल्ट टू रिमेंबर पॉलिसी नंबर, सो आई वुड आइडेंटिफाई द यूजर फ्रॉम नेम एंड ईमेल एड्रेस, एंड आई वुड आस्क तुमको क्या डिजीज हुई है और कौन से हॉस्पिटल जाना है, इतनी इन्फॉर्मेशन दे दो, हमारा क्लेम टीम आपको फोन कर देंगे। बट अगर हम वी वांट टू लाइक गो थ्रू द होल क्लेम प्रोसेस, इसे फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ये चैटबॉट मोबाइल पे नहीं हो सकता, इसको डेस्कटॉप पे बनाना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज द यूजर विल हैव टू अपलोड डॉक्यूमेंट्स। आइडिया चेंज हो गया है ना? And we are going to ask more questions, and we are going to ask them too many things. Also, the sales claim department वाला जो chatbot होगा वो छोटा सा conversation होगा और वो खत्म हो जाएगा। बट ये वाला जो होगा इसमें resumable conversation चाहिए रहेगा, because हो सकता है मैंने कुछ पूछा जो यूजर के पास नहीं, तो यूजर ओके आई विल फाइंड एंड गेट बैक, and when the user gets back he has to pick it up from where he left off. समझ रहे हो विनीत भाई?
So I suppose
It is weird
things
to
can
talk
be
to.
taken down onto the personal chat in order to
Yes.
understand things better. So my
Yes.
question, the last question for today, and maybe the last question of this conference for today, is that when you're actually creating a product design-wise, there comes a time when you actually have to change the features every now and then related to some previous feedbacks or maybe something that you don't like. What would you actually take into consideration? Is it going to be 50-50 that you take your own, thoughts in mind and pivot the model or the design? Or would you take into consideration the audience's feedback? Or is it 50-50? What would you do?
I mean, I would. It is definitely us and audience both, but
Right.
it cannot be split 50-50 because
Right,
it
okay.
also depends from subject to subject. अगर
Okay.
अगर तुमको ऑडियंस बोलती है नहीं नहीं तुम, आई एम अ पेमेंट गेटवे कंपनी सेइंग दैट जो 4% लेता है ट्रांजैक्शन पे, एंड
Uh-huh.
द डिजाइन it is designed to take 4%, and again here the
Right.
design is cannot only be the UI, right? It can be everything.
Right.
It can be information architecture, it can be database architecture, it can be the business model design. Design
Right.
thinking can be applied anywhere,
Indeed, yes.
right? So मैं business model के हिसाब से देखो, if I want to do the business model design, ऐसे 4% नहीं चाहिए यूजर को, यूजर बोल रहा 2% दो, तो is it viable for your business? No.
Uh-huh.
What you would do is saying that you will pick out like 5 customers and give them 2%
Uh-huh.
instead of 4%, and make them your followers. भाई ये मेरे अब ये मेरे बच्चे बन गए, कभी मुझे छोड़ के नहीं आएंगे. So you see that feedback that you got from the user कि मम्मी 4% नहीं पड़ रहा, you took that feedback.
Okay.
You designed it in a way that benefited the product.
But
And
won't that change the design and the model and the business model and things quite a few times? That let's suppose things are going on and you got this 4% 4% wala people onto your site, और उसके बाद एकदम से you get some other feedback and you're changing the model. Then of course keeping this model intact, you're changing the model a bit more. So does this pivoting
you're not
affect
you're
your
essentially not you're not essentially changing the model. You're just trying to either create a new audience, or you're just
Right.
trying to create a temporary marketing promotion, right?
Okay, so what you're
So
trying
you're
to say
not
is that
changing your base model.
introducing a new feature or maybe pivoting to a new section is something that people can do in order to get new audience. That's something that can be taken into
It is
consideration.
always an offshoot. It's like a tree. Your product is like a tree, right? ऐसा नहीं
Right,
होता,
right.
हमारे पास नया झाड़ थोड़ी उगाते हैं.
Right.
There is a big trunk, which is your
Bilkul.
product, the base product,
Right.
and then there are branches offshooting from that.
Sure.
So the feedback is only going to make a new branch. It's
Got
not
it.
going to create a new product at all, ever. Right? If you do that, you are essentially pivoting. And if you are pivoting,
Right.
then your base product was anyway incorrect.
Oh,
The design thinking was not thorough on that. So it's okay to
perfect.
ditch.
Got it. So guys, this was Jaimin Pandya who actually gave us an enlightened, talk about design thinking, etc. And now we would like to actually get on with the closing remarks for today. So I'm going to be pulling you into the closing remarks session room, and the people who are the 220 people who are online and registered with us, I would like you to stay
223.
for another. Yeah, I would like you to stay for another 15 minutes in order to get the whole thing, and thank all the organizers who are going to be a part of this, who have been a part of this organizing team, and the speakers, of course, and our uh, sponsor as well. So I'll be calling you there. Thank you, Jaiman Bhai, for the lovely talk.
Thank you, everybody, for getting bored by me. But thank you for signing up with WP Couchman. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much.